Welcome back to Just Some Perspective podcast. I'm your host, Mosh Raman, and we're at the end of October, and unfortunately, the news is not great, especially in the job sector. In case you have not heard or have not been on the interwebs at all this whole week, there's a lot of layoffs that are happening and that are coming by major large companies, major corporations, and I'm gonna show you some of that right now. But it's not looking good, and people need to be aware. And I have some thoughts I'll share, but let's get to the brunt of it, right? So here on this post here by the Kobeisi letter in on X, right? Recent layoff announcements. It's a staggering number. UPS 48,000 employees. That's insane. Amazon up to 30,000 employees, and just today 14K was like confirmed to be let go or so. So that's crazy. Intel 24K employees, Nestle 16K. These are nice round numbers. We know for a fact it's not actually nice round numbers, but it's nice to see it in general. But I mean, it's not good to see the layoffs, don't get me wrong, but anyway. So yeah, Nestle 16,000, Accenture 11,000, Ford 11,000, uh, Novo Nordisk 9,000, Microsoft 7,000, PwC 5,600, Salesforce 4,000, Paramount 2,000, Target 1,800, Kroger 1,000, Meta 600. Um, so this is not looking good. And right here, as you can see, UPS 48,000 jobs. And I don't believe that happened in one day or one week. That's probably throughout the course of a whole year, I'm assuming. And okay, so according to Washington Post, UPS cuts 34,000 jobs in the year to date as its turnaround continues. So, um, yeah, it's pretty bad situation. I pray it gets better, but we do need to be aware. And the big story I saw was Amazon, but UPS, of course, is taking over. But let's check out the Amazon story real quick on this today news story.
Massive job cuts at Amazon. Overnight, the company announcing it'll eliminate approximately 14,000 roles. This is the largest corporate layoff of the year, one of the largest in Amazon's history. NBC senior business correspondent Christine Romans joins us now. Christine, this may be preview of coming attractions. The AI boom is real, and it's meaning a lot of jobs are going away.
It really is, and this is 14,000 at Amazon, and people start to get that notice here today. The company says it needs to be lean and remain more nimble in this age of generative AI.
It's true. If AI fear wasn't real before, it's most certainly becoming reality now. And this is only compounding that. These massive layoffs by the way, one of the world's largest tech corporations and conglomerates in the globe, in the world. And we all shop at Amazon. I order Amazon. It's so easy to order stuff on there. And I'm pretty sure I don't know anyone who's never shopped at Amazon, so we're all pretty much customers and consumers of that. And being one of the world's largest tech corporations, you need thousands and thousands of employees to do your jobs. But now, with the advent of AI, which by the way they're at the forefront of, if robots can do all that job, man, I mean, humans are still delivering our packages, and humans are like shipping the packages and for the most part with the help of machines. But if robots and AI is doing all of that, that's not good, and that's going to impact everything. Unfortunately, it's sad. There's no other way to say it, but we're heading towards that direction, and it's not anything to do necessarily with us, with regular folks, regular professionals, people who studied their whole life and built careers and so forth. It doesn't really have to do with you or me. It's simply progress taking effect, right? I mean, Facebook was new 15 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Okay, 20 years ago, for being honest. And so before that, there was no such thing as Facebooking and social networks, right? And now, obviously, here we are. So progress will happen. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, I should say. There are negative byproducts of it, of course, but it's going to happen whether you or me want it to happen or not. And AI is simply the next step in the evolution of that. It could be one of the last steps. I don't know. But it's crazy that it's happening before the holiday season, that Amazon's cutting right here 14K jobs. And by the way, nice whole round number. We know it's not a fact that it's not exactly on the dot, that nice whole round number, right? It's probably like 13.578, whatever, you know? You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, it's not good. And I know I have friends who are like Amazon delivery drivers. I appreciate all my drivers and all the Amazon workers, because of course we wouldn't get our packages delivered nearly as efficiently without them. And I'm praying for y'all. I'm praying for people. I hope people can move on and move forward, because this is not the worst. This is signs of things to come. Unfortunately, AI is coming, and we do need to utilize it and learn it and make use of it as best as we can, because for sure it's coming. It's here, and already on Instagram, it's like half of it is AI generated content, and it's really cool content. It's just AI generated. So we have to get ahead of the curve. I have more thoughts about the job market as a whole, but let me get past this real quick.
They want to operate like the world's largest startup, they say, and they call AI the most transformative technology since the internet. They want to reduce layers. They want to be able to move quickly to harness this so that they can make more money and serve their customers. So I think you're seeing this in a lot of different businesses as well. We have seen layoffs recently from Microsoft, Meta, Google, Salesforce, Intel. Target last week announced some layoffs at its corporate office, sometimes for different reasons, but we know that companies are moving very, very quickly to try to harness this. It's so interesting. You've got the stock market at record highs, in part because of all of this spending and enthusiasm over artificial intelligence. At the same time, that same technology is being used in these companies to become more lean.
And interesting, Amazon explicitly said, yes, this is because of AI in that statement they put out this morning. So you touched on it a bit, but bigger picture now, AI appears to be reshaping the economy.
Yeah, and by the way, if you think that these corporations care about each individual worker, you're sadly mistaken, okay? They don't. But that being said, it's a job, and all jobs are replaceable, by the way. And if it's not clear about AI's advent and how it's becoming more and more jobs being replaced, not all 100%, but a lot of them, it should be very clear that this is the future we're heading towards, okay? And I pray it doesn't get worse this holiday season, because we're approaching holiday season. And the last thing you want, people who their livelihood depends on these jobs and whatever they make, right before the holiday, that's a busy season. Like typically they'd be busy as hell working, right? Delivering packages and boosting the economy and so forth. So, and they don't need to be Amazon or any corporation. They don't need to pretend like AI isn't here and it's not at the forefront of major technological revolution. They don't have to pretend, because it is. Everyone's aware of it. They're just being upfront and honest about it, that it is behind such a massive shift in the market. So what does that mean? That means we need to focus on what we can control, which is our skills. And what is a skill? Learning AI and ChatGPT and using that to your advantage in your job and your day-to-day life, right? That's a skill. It can be learned. And also, we can learn to take control of our anxiety, and make no mistake, we all have anxiety to a degree, every single person. But if you're part of layoffs, or if you ever experience job loss, which I can write a book about losing jobs and bouncing back. Okay. I've lost a ton of jobs, and my whole career I could paint a picture with going to and from different jobs and different companies. I can say that. So I understand the game that I'm part of. But if you've never lost a job in your life, it's going to be really hard to relate. And you're probably thinking like the world is coming to an end or something. It's not, because it is just a job. And it's just at the end of the day, it's a source of income. It's a means to an end to pay your bills and your mortgages and put like they say, bread on the table. I mean, nobody actually buys bread and that kind of thing, but food on the table and so forth, right? So we need it to live our life, to manage our lifestyle, and just finance our life, right? You need it. Unless you are growing a business, or unless you're able to generate income some other way, right? There's many ways of doing that. We still need it. So, but that being said, in the end of here, we're heading towards the twilight of 2025 and heading into 2026. What does that say? The future is AI. And it's the younger generation is really going to feel the brunt of this, because at least I've studied for like 20 plus years and been working 12 plus years, right? So at least I have the experience behind me, of being in the professional world, of being in the corporate world, and working in tech, and even in the office, there's fears of AI replacing jobs that we do, right? I'm gonna knock on wood there. Is it possible? Yes. Is it likely in the future? It's getting more and more likely. Yes. Does that mean I need to be constantly anxious and worried every minute? No. We still can focus on what we can control, and not let the news deter us. I want to play one more video and see if there's any more X content, then wrap it up. But
this is something that the companies all across the board have been doing since the pandemic era, what they call overhiring. A lot of these companies saw the growth in how people were relying on tech during the pandemic. When they were home, they were obviously ordering a lot more from Amazon because they didn't want to go to the grocery store if they were at-home workers. And the company hired to accommodate that, and now they don't need as many people. But I heard your earlier point, Carol, about AI. I think that's part of it, but I also think that part of it is when these companies go through periods of opportunity where they see a lot of growth, they're seeing that trend line and they're hiring for the future. We're seeing it right now with AI. These companies are building out data centers. They don't know if they're actually going to need all of that capacity long term, but they better make that deal today, or else they might not have it when they need it.
By the way, there's something I heard a long time ago that really rings a bell. That growing up, it may be hard to believe when you grow up, when we hear about the golden rule and treat everyone the way you want to be treated, which is true. I agree with that. But another way of saying what is a golden rule, especially a guy who probably worked at one of those UPS stores or whatever, the one with the gold makes the rules. So when you're a multi-billion-dollar company, actually they're heading towards $1 trillion. Okay, so like a massive amount of wealth in their net worth. And by the way, little detour, but I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but U.S. government, the way the tax system is designed, major corporations that reinvest their money, their revenue back into their company and keep generating revenue and so forth and keep reinvesting, they don't have to pay, I don't think maybe any income tax, but certainly not a large amount. Okay, because the government says that if you put your revenue and profits back into your company to reinvest and to grow, that's promoting growth, right? And it's promoting your company and your workers ideally and so forth, and generating growth. So they are kind of exempt from a lot of taxes, if not a large chunk of it. Regular people are not exempt from taxes because you earn a wage and that is taxable income, and unfortunately. Now, I hope that changes, that they can just income tax, the one tax I hate the most, and I pray that could actually no longer be part of our actual taxes. But we're taxed on everything, sales tax, food tax, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You buy a vape, there's a tax, whatever. So all citizens are taxed on everything. And unfortunately, income tax too. So you're taxed on the money you make as a tax-paying citizen. But in a corporate world, if you are a company like Amazon and you generate hundreds of billions of dollars profit and you reinvest that money back into your company, and to further expand growth, right, and more revenue, they don't have to pay taxes. They're tax free. So that's why the rules don't apply to the ultra 1% corporations and high net worth individuals. Okay, it just doesn't. It's just a whole different world. So, but that being said, I used to be more along the lines of the socialist thinking of like, no man, they need to tax them at a 80% or super high rate and remove the taxes from the lower class. And I understand that logic. And by the way, there's nothing wrong. There's no such thing. There's no evil in growing a large corporation that we're all consumers of. Do you see what I'm saying? If you really hate a company or corporation so much, you would just. By the way, her face looks weird here when I paused it.
So
I just
we do.
noticed that. Anyway, if you dislike a company or corporation so much for whatever reason, political or otherwise, you simply just don't shop there. You vote with your dollars. We vote with our dollars. Okay, you have spending power. Yes, purchasing power. That's what those companies are banking on, right? You order on Amazon and they deliver to you next day or whatever with Amazon Prime, and if the large chunk of U.S. Population and to be honest the global market didn't do that, then then they would not be worth nearly as much, and therefore you wouldn't see these numbers of 14,000 being replaced or whatever. They couldn't hire that many to begin with. So yeah, they overspent, they overhired to begin with. And because markets were booming and everyone's still ordering Amazon, especially during lockdown, nothing else to do, you can't really go to shop. So of course it went up, which means what? Rich people keep getting richer, right? And Bezos but that being said, there wouldn't be an Amazon without Bezos and those people in the early days that believed in this company concept before that. But in the early days of internet, when there was no internet and there was no idea of what online e-commerce platform could be or what even online was. So like kudos to Bezos and Elon Musk and the movers and shakers of the world. You have to be a dreamer. You have to believe in something before it's reality. You wouldn't be in the position to be a multi-billionaire CEO that has the power to lay off thousands of people. I mean, and hire also thousands of people too, right? So you wouldn't be in that position if you didn't go through the hard work, suffering, and process that it takes to get there. Okay, so they're not bad people. It's not bad. It's simply they are rewarded for building and creating a company that generates so much revenue and so much market share, right? That they have the luxury to do that. They have the luxury of letting go of 15,000 people. Do you know the average business is not hiring 15,000 people? They can't. They don't generate enough revenue to do that. Okay, we're not talking about Walmarts and so forth, and Amazons and Netflixes. We're talking about regular startups. We're talking about just normal middle ground companies, right? Maybe a few $1 million profit. They can't even afford to hire that many. Only the top 1% can. So yes, UPS, Amazon, Intel, Nestle, these are really big numbers, but this is the world we live in, and it's for sure the world we're heading into. Okay, so what does that mean for the individual? That means take charge of what is in your control, take control, like Bain says, and increase your skill set. Okay, work on yourself. Go in the gym, focus on your health, your fitness, your mental health, for sure. Please take care of your mental health. Not worrying about which you can't control. You can't control who hires you. You absolutely cannot. You can't even control who likes you, who responds to your messages. Okay, you actually cannot control. It doesn't matter how many messages and how often you text. You can't control who and when they're gonna message you back. That being said, focus on what it is in your control. And yes, these numbers are not looking good. And yes, AI is here. Yes, corporations are laying off people in mass. But we live in the most information-rich year in time in history. Okay, in the most technological rich time in history. We can use that to our advantage. Okay, and so yeah, let's get here halfway done and then call it a day.
See a lot of anticipatory investment from these tech companies over time that sometimes they need to pull back on. In big tech, we haven't seen as big a pullback as we have in the past few years since the pandemic. It's really been a change in the culture, this drive for efficiency, for reducing bureaucratic bloat. And it's not just a line they're throwing out there. We are seeing my colleague Matt Day wrote a really interesting story I encourage everyone to read about AWS and how AWS was at the forefront of cloud, really inventing the market. And in the era of AI, they have fallen back in preference for startups. They had that big outage we talked about last time I was on this show, and some of the employees are attributing that to bloat, to this bureaucratic culture. Too many people working on the same things and things not getting.
Yep, she said it right there. Bureaucratic bloat, increasing efficiency. Look, if you're a corporation, that's your only goal is to increase efficiency, maximize profit, minimize expenses. It is like the 101 of business. Okay, it's 101. It's hard to do, but that is the overall goal and objective, right? So yeah, man, there's a lot more videos. Obviously, we don't have time to go through them, and I'm not going to go through more of them, but we already saw the numbers, mass layoffs, thousands of people for many companies, right? And AI is at the forefront. So I would highly advise people learning AI and getting used to AI, and it's here whether we like it or not, okay? And all of history has been because of progress. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, what's a good example? I mean, the Romans. I mean, every empire rose, and most empires rose and fall. And I don't want to get into that right now, but you could say like the West is headed towards that. But like some technological revolution or progress, something in the shape of progress came, and then everything else changed. There's no Native Americans ruled this land for over 1,000 years, I think, and suddenly settlers with diseases and advanced weaponry and all that stuff came through, and suddenly within just a few hundred years, whole thing changed. No more, and almost extinct whole entire population, which is crazy. But that's just progress versus no progress. I'm not happy about it. It's a super sad story, and nobody wants to look back and say, yeah, well, we're happy that happened. No, I don't think so. But that is called progress versus complacency. Okay. Yes. If you're a native species and you don't progress, and if there is a species in your same earth or same world that is progressing, you will be at their mercy if you can't figure out how to like defend yourself, your way of life or whatever. And AI is just the next thing. AI is coming. So, I mean, I'm sorry, AI is here, but it's not really taking off. But with these layoffs and with the stories about AI integrating it in all area in the company, if that's not a wake up call, I don't know what is. So we have to be ahead of the curve. We have to understand the game. We have to understand what game we're playing and make the right moves. That's all work life is about. That's all corporate world and life is about, is understanding it's a game you're playing. What moves do I make? How do I improve myself? How do I win this game? Every game's like that. It's all based on rules, regulations, standards, right? Guidelines, whatever. It's all based on that. And you have to understand that there's moves I can make that increase my chances of winning or decrease my chance of winning. You know what I'm saying? So the best move we can make now is to learn AI, is to understand that our jobs are not safe, to be honest. Knock on wood, mine included. I'm a knock on wood there, but I've been through this before, so I'll bounce back, inshallah. And yeah, there's no more job security, by the way. If this isn't clear, there's no such thing, especially with AI. Okay, so take advantage. Just learn skills, make yourself valuable, network, focus on yourself. Work on your growth and development as a person, as a professional, as a human, in every capacity. Okay, you have to. And opportunities will open the door. Doors will open when they say when the student is ready, the teacher appears. Yeah. So in other words, when when a person is ready, the right doors will open. Okay, so you just have to be ready. So yeah, let's end this video here. I pray for everyone who lost their jobs, and I wish the best for you. Please take control of your health and your mental health first and foremost, and then focus on the next steps, okay, for your next goals. And find mentors, find someone who can create value and help you in your career path and so forth. But and networking, gotta network. You can't escaping networking in this day. So with that, if you like this episode, please hit the like button, share, and subscribe for more. Have you experienced joblessness or getting laid off? Please comment below, let us know. With that, this is Mosh signing off, and remember, just a little perspective.